Morning to all of you. Respected dignitaries on the dais and all teaching staff and others sitting in the auditorium, students, their parents and guardians. First of all, let me congratulate to all of you for having got admission in MBBS, because this is what I remember my olden days when I first got in 1962. So I used to be thrilling, and it was so happy to get a seat in medical college when I went into Vizag and switched over to AFMC. We are not so rich enough to continue even to Isaac. 50 rupees per month my father was not able to afford. So that is why suddenly, luckily, I got on for full college. It was free education. I don't have to pay the fees. So I joined there. Anyway, that is the history now. Well, they have, I think, my friends are thinking that I am having Alzheimer's. So they wish me the best of luck to speak to you people. And I will try to prove that still the amyloid plaques have not come into the brain. Anyway. Well, what I would like to tell you is, for you people to remember how you have come to study now. Homo sapiens, you wanted to study the Homo sapiens as on today. In the next 5 years you will be studying, and whole life you will be treating. Start with the dead body and start treating with the living body. Now how did we come up to this level? That's what you must know. 14 billion years ago, 14 billion years ago, the matter, the energy, the space and the time, they combine together into a dense small mass, absolutely hot and highly compact mass as a singularity, developed Big Bang. And in that we have developed actually the universe containing the galaxies, stars and planets. What happened? That is exactly the history of physics. That is the reason we have to study the physics. And 300,000 years later, the matter and energy combined together and formed certain complex items known as atoms, which combined together to form small molecules and became larger molecules. That is the history of chemistry. 4 billion years ago, the methane, the ammonia, carbon dioxide, and the water vapor combined together and formed certain amino acids, and then became initially the RNA, then became the DNA, and formed what is the life and unicellular organism, and went into the multicellular organism. 70,000 years ago, what has happened is, then we have developed Homo sapiens and just developed from Neanderthals, transitional movements. And in this 70,000 years, what you will find is the first is cognitive revolution. After that, the second revolution is agricultural revolution. The third is the scientific revolution. The cognitive revolution was 70,000 years ago. Agricultural revolution was 12,000 years ago. And scientific revolution is 500 years ago. The scientific revolution, from scientific revolution, we have developed now basically the industrial revolution and intellectual revolution. Industrial revolution has automatically started as industry 1.0. Now we are in the stage of 5.0. Why we should know of all these things? Even all medicine is related to the full scientific, industrial and intellectual revolutions. Without that, we cannot survive today. And you will not be able to survive in future without this. In 1.0 is only the steam and water. From there we have used things. That is the reason why, if you remember the steam engines, even your sterilization in your medicine. 2.0 is nothing but electricity. Industry 3.0 is nothing but digital age. Industry 4.0 is completely computer technology and information technology and everything, and internet. And Industry 5.0 have come so many things. Number one, Internet of Things. In medicine, it is known as Internet of Medical Things, IOMT. Then we got virtual reality, we got augmented reality, we have got mixed reality, we have got data science, we have got molecular biology or molecular science, we have got genetic engineering, and followed by we have got actually nanotechnology, biotechnology. All these things have come now to develop so many things, whether your treatment, your identification, your diagnosis, followed by latest is artificial intelligence and quantum computing. You must have read already in your subject so many things, because you are more knowledgeable than me. It's very difficult to express in front of you youngsters nowadays for an elderly person. Your knowledge must be blowing and it's very difficult to compete with it. I tried to compete and I am trying. If something goes wrong and I have spoken wrong, all of you can stand and anybody can stand and tell that what stupid thing you are talking. There's no problem. I'm ready to accept it. Well, we have come to this level of this one. In that, what further things are taking place? Just observe. With all these things, scientific developments, so many specialties, non-traditional specialties have come into the medicine. By the time any one of you finish post-graduation, go to USA and UK, you may take up non-traditional specialists. Like now is actually immunotherapy. Immunologists may be there. No, it is cancer immunologist as a separate specialty. Has come up like anything. And that is very, very important thing. Then genomics scientists are now genetic therapy, where you have read it, CRISPR will be used in few. That's why you will find separate CRISPR laboratory. And in that a pathologist will be reading this thing. I'm sure all of you will be knowing it is clustered, regularly interspaced, short, palindromic repeats associated protein number 9. That is exactly the name of CRISPR-Cas9. That is going to be the in future for us, for all of us. All your cancer management, all diseases will be treated by this CRISPR. It cuts the genes wherever it is and replaces whatever it is in various diseases. Then you will get the new genome, corrected genome in our body. That is going to happen, and all of you will be the genomic specialists. Now, there is one molecular medicine, new discipline. There will be nanomedicine, new discipline. There will be precision medicine, new discipline. That is nothing but precision medicine is predictive, preventive, participatory and personalized medicine. That is known as P4 medicine. I'm sure one of you will be the specialist in P. in P4 medicine in USA or UK, or by the time your son or grandson will become, this specialty will become very natural in our country. That will be going to be the very important. All of you should know the recent advances in these things. Once P4 medicine now, one of you are studying it, it will further go into quantum health or quantum medicine. Now, artificial intelligence physician. Now, what is going to happen is artificial intelligence will accelerate quantum computing, and quantum computing will accelerate artificial intelligence. They run together in the future, and one of you will be specialists in that subject. The next one is most important, is that you are seeing it now. You will all be doing the research. A research is going on how to stop aging, how to do it. Now, who is interested in stopping aging? I am not interested in stopping aging. If any one of you can take up the job of reverse aging. Already there are cases of progeria. Why don't you? Progeria means you have become very old, very younger age itself. But why don't you make very young and very elder age and call them as ageria or antigeria? But I don't know. So far nothing happened, because the old age is a system, it continues. I'm not able to understand it. How in mythology already it is written there, and already the persons can become younger. If you remember the Ayati getting the age of the hero when he was penalized by Sukracharya. And he took the age from the young and then transferred after 10,000 years back to him. So as a very young, he is living 10,000 years. And you can find it in immortality. Now the research is going on why a person cannot be immortal. Reason is very simple. Thinking in the science. You see, even at the age of 50 years, I produce a child. My sperm is joining the egg. Now, how that sperm is just 2 days old only. Then why all my cells cannot be 2 days old and become very young? Though of course every 7 years is expected that all cells get replaced in the body, but old age is going on. But old age is not there in the stem cells. Old age is not there in that sperms and eggs. Old age is not there when the dolly is produced and you are cloning. I've seen the cloning. So for example, you have had the cloning. These are all rent from the mythology. You see, there is a Raktabiz Rakshas. What is happening? Whenever it is, one drop falls on it, the crown comes out. And that to kill Mahakali, very difficult it became to kill her. How did he do it? And how did she do it? She has put the tongue, and this thing is, covered the hole on the floor so that the drop do not fall. It falls only on her tongue, and then she can further kill him. That is what has happened in cloning this one. Whereas you see the immortal, in our mythology itself there are several immortals are there. If you go to Mahabharata exactly, now you will find it absolutely, whether it is Vedavyasa or you go to the second person, Kripacharya, Ashwadhama. These three are immortal. Similarly in Ramayana, whether it is Vibhishan or Hanuman, they are immortals. In your avatars, if you see, actually Parasurama is an immortal. And also we have read immortal is in Vamanavatara, Mahabali. If you see exactly, this is once in a year at the time of the Onam, he comes up and treated. You see, so why we can't be immortal? Why you cannot do research when you become seniors and make us immortal? At least first you start with stopping aging, then you proceed to the reverse aging, then you proceed to the immortal. Having done it now, all those things anyway, now how did we become this thing? As I told you, correct 4 billion years ago, you started. How did you read? You read Monira, you read Protista, you read Fungi, you read Plante, you read Animalia. Having read Animalia, you wanted to further classify Animalia, classified based on either organization, the cellular organization, or the organization, or based on tissue level. Or you would say radial symmetry or bilateral symmetry. Or you proceeded to the body cavity, either a coelomate, acoelomate, or pseudocoelomate. And then you came down to actually porifera, coelenterata, ctenophora, platyhelminthes, aschelminthes, annelida, arthropoda, echinodermata, mollusca then echinodermata, hemichordata, chordata. Having studied chordata, you come down to the vertebrates. And having read the vertebrates, in that you said Gnatha and Gnathostomia. And having read Gnathostomia, you come down to the particularly Pisces. Then you come to the amphibians, you went to the reptiles, you went to avils, you went to mammals. Once having come to mammals, you come down to the primates. Having come to the primates, you went to the hominids. Having read hominids, you come down to the particularly Australopithecus, Ramapithecus, Homo habilis, Homo erectus, Homo neanderthalensis, and then you came to the finally Homo sapiens. And now you have come to study Homo sapiens, whether it is dead one you want to study first, and then go and study the living person. I do not know. Life comes once, death later. But studying the death first, later you are studying this thing. Anyway, that is an interesting thing, because it is necessary to know the various structures in the body and everything else. See, having studied this, if you see the life, I am not able to so far understand what is life, what is death. If you remember in the plant botany, when you are reading the electron transfer, while producing the energy, Nick Lane, in his book, nicely has defined how it is. One sentence he has said, life is nothing but electron looks for a place to rest. But the death is nothing but electron come to rest. Very interesting, excellent definition of life and death. That is why it's very difficult. All our biology students, we cannot even understand genetics. But let me tell you, I would like to quote one sentence, very beautiful sentence. All of you students of biology related to the genetics understand everything about genetics except their subject. Very interesting. The students of genetics understand everything about their subject except their subject. We go home and read the meaning. This is G.K. Chesterton has said so. It has been mentioned in the book Gene by Siddhartha Mukherjee. A wonderful definition for all biology students. And if you really analyze and understand, then you will realize what is it really. Because it's very simple. Development so fast are taking place every year, every 6 months you will find new thing is coming. Nobody knew what are genes except heredity. Now genes have come, so many genes, new genes are coming. Now everybody is interested now in P53 gene. It is known as guardian of genome. Must have studied it. Because that is the one which is controlling you not to get the cancers. But then people are thinking is how to do it. And now they are trying to correct this P53 gene if you can study them and do it. But they are again worried now if you try to correct it, the apoptosis and senescence may go away and then the cancer may produce further. So far, nobody has understood what is cancer. So far, nobody is able to manage cancer. Reason is simple. Why natural selection, Darwin's natural selection has not removed the cancer from our bodies maybe hundreds of years back. Why? It's very simple. 95% of the cancers are usually coming after the reproductive age. As they are coming of the reproductive age, the nature has not removed the cancer from going down the heredity. That is the problem. Probably if it comes very early, then what happens is, then the nature will take interest to stop it. That is how, if you read the natural selection, the survival of the fittest and everything else, if you read the Darwin's theory, that is how actually we have come up to this level. How nicely we have come up. Now, having come to the medical college to study these subjects, the first thing you will be going to the first year, 3 subjects, anatomy, physiology, biochemistry, you will be reading it. Now, when you read you first would like to know, though you knew something in the biology, arteries, veins, nerves, muscles, nervous system, all systems, you have learnt it. But in anatomy, human body, you have to learn all these structures. That's the greatest person actually, anatomy. Andreas Vesalius, you must be hearing it actually, and you'll be knowing he has actually taught the anatomy and written a wonderful book on the anatomy of the structure. And now we have here Professor of Anatomy with us, Professor Surekha Jadhav. She has been with us. Please meet her. She has been with us, and actually she has been very good at what? A good teacher, and she and Sudhir Pawar have taken a lot of interest in the department to develop the museum to such an excellent level, and it contains, particularly I wanted the cranial nerve laboratory. The cranial nerve laboratories, and I can tell you, I must give full credit to Professor Sudhir Pawar as well as Dr. Surekha Jadhav. After that, we are expected to know how does muscle function? How does nerve function? How does gastrointestinal system function? How does nervous system or cardiovascular system function? That means understanding the functioning after knowing the structure is the next job. That subject is actually the physiology. Now we have with us actually a professor who has, along with her husband, they were together with me when I was Vice Chancellor at Loni, Aurora Institute of Medical Sciences. They're very good, they were doing a good job. And they went to Bhopal from there, worked there in the medical college. And once I came over here, I personally rang up and then requested them to come over to this place. They're very kind enough and accepted and came over to this place. And as far as physiology is concerned, let me tell you, she has taken a lot of interest and developed the systems in the department very well. She is kindly meet Professor of Physiology. He is Vikhe. After that, what has happened now, we have to, having known structure, having known functions, how this function is taking place actually, what chemicals have produced this function, how these chemicals are reacting to each other. For example, when you take a gastrointestinal system, How, what gastrointestinal system is functioning? Yes, it is moving and is doing anything. But what is doing? What is pancreas doing? What is salivary gland doing? Is what is it producing? And if that is so, what is its action? For example, salivary enzyme, what does it do? This is where the chemical production and chemical reactions and chemical recognition and their interactions between the various substances is actually the biochemistry. You see, the biochemistry actually, I can tell you, the father of biochemistry is Claude Bernard. Wonderful, outstanding biochemistry, who is actually discussed and described homeostasis. Under him, actually, the biochemistry has developed to present level. Now we have professor and head of the department, Professor Dhananjay Andure. He is, from the beginning, the moment he passed MD Biochemistry, he has come and joined with us. Almost he has been with me for the last 15 years. Once he finished it again, before I leave the place, I asked him to continue to stay here, though of course he was hesitant, and then I have requested him and then he has accepted my request, and at that time he continued. He is very simple, thoroughly knowledgeable. He has taken a lot of interest. He has worked under our good friend Padalkar earlier, who was head of the department, and he is controlling and he is performing the department, and he has increased from starting from 100 seats, went to 150 and went to 200 now seats. Wonderfully arranged the laboratory, and he's been very coordinating the department extremely very well. I thank him, Professor Dhananjay. These are the actually 3 professors we have got. Actually, many professors, because on the vacation actually they are supposed to, they left the place. But the persons who are here, I am supposed to definitely introduce with permission of our director. And you know, I don't know whether you heard of Hippocrates. You will be seeing Hippocrates, isn't it or not? Father of medicine, Hippocratic oath, and absolutely it is the 4 humors. Normally 3 humors you hear in Ayurveda. The 4 humors actually, that is what there was a Hippocratic oath. Actually, that is what the oath has taught us, all medical colleges throughout the world, to have an oath in their own respective countries. Our country also, we have got oath once you finish MBBS. Similarly, Hippocrates has also taught us to have oath in the Department of Anatomy. In the beginning, when you touch the dead body, showing respect to the dead bodies. That oath is regularly, the moment you go there, I think first thing is they will ask you to take oath in the anatomy department. And later at the end of medicine course, you will be doing the oath that is prescribed for us. There is a god of modern medicine, whatever it is, Asclepius. You must have heard of the name Asclepius, all of you students. Asclepius actually has medicine. He is born of Apollo and Coronis. What has happened is, when he was born, he has to be the caesarean section, basically. It is not a caesarean section, they have just cut open and brought the child out. That is why to cut open is the meaning for Asclepius. Now that Aesculapius is having the rod of this thing, the serpent intertwined, that is actually becomes a sign for us in all medical people. You must be seeing in their prescription somewhere is writing sign and serpent intertwined over the staff. That is actually the sign from the Aesculapius. The Aesculapius has got daughters, 5 daughters. Panacea, Hygia, Lasso, SSO, Agli. These are the 5 daughters. Out of which 2 daughters are very, very important. Hygia and Panacea. Panacea is of course related to the cure medicine and Hygia is related to preventive medicine. Anyway, lady first, so that is both are ladies actually. So that is the reason I have to first introduce the lady. Hygia is related to the hygiene and the sanitation that gives a lot of help. That is how the diseases in olden days, how they are decreased completely. In 500 years ago, almost, the lifespan is only 30 years, even 200 years back, 300 years. But slowly, that has improved and we came down as on today 73 to 75, the lifespan. How could you reach this level? It is basically the hygiene and sanitation. Even Florence Nightingale has done in actually Crimean War. She first said hygiene and sanitation, if it is corrected, everything will be all right. So that is what she has done it and she has proved and brought the deaths to the lowest level. Similarly, here the deaths were brought down. Followed by Edward Jenner, who has given the vaccines. Followed by Alexander Fleming, who has given the antibiotics. See, these things have come up. And that's why we have stopped so many of these. Followed by blood transfusion. Now followed by genetic therapy. Now probably in future gene therapy will further increase and we go with the natural limit of our age, go to the 120 years. That is supposed to be this thing. But anyway, you must have Haycliffe limit. Haycliffe limit, when you know actually every cell when it divides, is normally expected to divide is 3,200 times. It is 47 divisions per year. So 3,200 divided by 47 comes to approximately 68 to 70. Is expected to 70 years of age is the normal expected age. Unless and until now you have to stop division at somewhere and then see that our age improves further. Anyway, our Department of Preventive Medicine, Social Medicine, because I am giving first lady, after finishing the 3 subjects, is our actually Professor of Preventive and Social Medicine, is Madam Avachet. She has been with us, started actually in the beginning itself from the beginning and became assistant from the associate and then became professor and became head of the department. And let me tell you, with very meager resources, she has continued in the department and she has improved the department, brought to very high level. We are extremely grateful to Madam. Now we'll come to the after finishing your anatomy, physiology, biochemistry, having understood, you must understand the disease. Why disease is occurring? What is happening in that cell? What will you find in that cell? What will you find in the tissue? Both morbid anatomy as well as cytopathology or histopathology. That means what? We have to go to the pathology. Actually, the professor of the department is Mrs. Patil. And now he is represented by Mrs. Puranik, madam. After that, of course, you will be studying pharmacology. After pharmacology, what is happening now? Professor is on leave. After that, we come to the next subject is the forensic medicine. Forensic medicine, please don't think it's a very, very important subject. Actually, let me tell you, most important is preventive and social medicine subject. The second important, let me tell you, the forensic medicine. With due respects to Arun Tyagi, Srivastava, and Avari, our this thing is. So medical superintendent will be, de facto medical superintendent will be very happy to hear these words. Now, if you see after pathology, forensic medicine, what happens is, forensic medicine is the one which recognizes reasons for various injuries, reasons for various deaths, whether it is accidental death or whether it is homicidal death or whether it is suicidal death or whether it is a poisoning or whatever it is, what has happened, how to recognize. And now forensic medicine is not alone. Let me tell you, forensic medicine subspecialties have come to almost crossed more than 20 subspecialties in forensic medicine like your. It has crossed the general medicine and general surgery as for the subspecialties. The word subspecialty they may not like, so I can call it tomorrow. They may make it as a super specialties and they will be having probably DM in these subjects very soon in the next 10-15 years. The greatest person actually, as far as the forensic medicine is concerned, Paula, later it became Paul Jacassi. His name is actually the greatest forensic medicine. Even 400 years back, he has written several book on this. Followed by an Indian forensic medicine specialist, Modi, is supposed to be father of Indian forensic medicine. And we have with us Professor Vikhe Patil as head of the Department of Forensic. Simultaneously, he has been requested to assist the Dean as the Vice Dean, and he is doing also the administrative work and is helping the general management of the medical college overall. Well, very, very important is actually how this disease is occurring. That you have read pathology, but why this is affected? So you must have heard long time back, as I told you already, 4 billion years back, when he started unicellular organisms and multicellular organisms. They are all microorganisms. They belong to biology. And those microorganisms, they normally stay with us, many of them, except few. But somehow or other, they become rogues at some times. Maybe my inefficiency or their over-efficiency, they straight away produce the disease. That is actually the microbiology, which you will be reading in the second year onwards. This microbiology, this one, Leeuwenhoek is the one who has found out the microscope. And the microscope, how did you find first an ordinary magnifying lens? He used to see in the ponds. When he used to see in the ponds, he used to find some very, very smallest organisms moving here and there. Then he realized, then he has come to this level and recognized and found out the microscope. We have in our department, head of the department, Dr. Abhijit Avari. I think this name, nobody, he wants that the other person wants this name, I should tell. But anyway, I had to tell because his name is Dr. Abhijit. he has actually taken a lot of interest in the field. And I have observed actually whatever job specifically given by the dean or the director, he takes a lot of interest, particularly when the COVID 2019 has come actually COVID-19. What has happened is that I have seen him took a lot of interest in developing polymerase chain reaction laboratory, PCR laboratory. He has wonderfully brought it up, and with that we were able to diagnose COVID gene. Here itself we were able to diagnose and confirm. So we don't have to send the blood to somewhere else. For this, there is a rule that the laboratory has to be approved by NABL. He took a lot of interest and developed and saw to it that it is recognized as fast as possible to proceed with the investigation. So I request Professor Abhijit stand. Having said so, the clinical subjects are now I am not finding here at the heads of the departments. Here, the only except most important is, as you know, our father of modern medicine, either Hippocrates or of course we have to go to the Indian medicine god. He is the person, almost he is represented by our Professor Avani Kumar Srivastava. He is the Department of Medicine, and he has been close friend of Arun Tyagi. He has brought him here, and he said, and he displaced now. Once you brought your own vision, normally displaced. That is what happened in the whole history. In the whole history, if you read it completely, either somebody being replaced by the other, he only brings him. Now he is removed, thrown out. The other person takes over. So now he is actually the head of the department. Is this thing? Let me tell you, very calm, cool. He is an excellent diagnostic physician, particularly in the clinical diagnosis. He and my friend Arun Tyagi, they are not dependent on mostly on the investigations. They are dependent on their own senses and more leave it to the clinical diagnosis. That's really, I appreciate both of them and give credit now presently to the professor in another department of medicine, Dr. Srivastava. And we have, after that, Abraham Jacobi. Abraham Jacobi is actually father of pediatrics, greatest person who has detected and recognized the pediatrics as a separate discipline, and he started improving this pediatrics. We have with us Professor Suresh Vaidande, head of the Department of Pediatrics. When the previous professor Maske has taken over as the dean, he cannot hold simultaneously head of the department. So we have requested Vaidande, and with his help, Sunil Maske's help, he has come here and he has taken over as professor in other department. Having said basically other clinical departments, I come quickly to the administrative managerial staff. That administrative managerial staff in our this thing is, in our hospital, we have presently director of the hospital, Dr. Arun Tyagi. He has been in academics for last so many years in the armed forces services. He has worked very big hospitals and also worked in AFMC for so many years. And then I requested him to come to us, but he has been dilly-dallying at that time when I requested him to come over here. And finally, several times I rang him, and he has kindly accepted to come over here. Having come over here, he has displaced me. Very interesting. See, life is like that. Life nobody can question. It is a progress. When the progress takes place, regression will take place. So regression one has to accept and live happily for the regression. He, an outstanding person, he has been awarded Sena Medal in the Armed Forces. And after having joined here, he has been approved and given a fellowship of American College of Physicians here as Professor FAC. He is actually Professor Arun Tyagi. We have actual working medical superintendent with us, Professor More. Professor More is actually Department of Preventive and Social Medicine. For last 4 years he is working here. And he has been solving the problems of the hospital very well and understanding the problems. I agree, in a hospital actually, most difficult job is the medical superintendent's job. And you will see him that really. And plus simultaneously, he is taking the classes in preventive and social medicine, and simultaneously is taking interest in CMEs of various preventive and social medicine discipline. He is with us for last 4 years. Somehow or other, he avoids me, I don't know, to talk even, but I only request him to meet me. He is actually Professor More. We have actually now, after having finished the hospital actually, I will come to the medical college. Medical college we have Dean. He has been with me since the beginning. I have come here, joined as assistant professor and became associate professor and then head of the department, and continued as a principal. After principal, he has been appointed the dean to take over and look after. Let me tell you, he has taken a lot of interest in his department of pediatrics and produced a wonderful museum. And that museum actually regularly during the first few years, SSS used to come and see, and he is actually professor and head of the department and also the dean at that time. Now no more head of the department, is a professor and the dean of our college, Sunil Nath Maske. Now I would like to say a few words about him. He is not only taken an interest in his clinical side, he has taken so much interest in the academic side, and he has written several books in the pediatrics. I must appreciate him. So many books alone he has written the books. Plus, for all your consumption, he has been declared as the best teacher by the Maharashtra University of Health Sciences. And also, the Medical Council of India has also given him the best teacher award. And also, he has acquired doctorate in philosophy in this subject. PhD degree has been awarded. That is a really feather. Let me tell you, this many feathers in cap. Even if one feather he gives it to me, I would have put it on my head, but then I didn't have any feather in my cap. He is such an outstanding person. Is your dean. Now please respect him and look after him, and you will be looked after. And then, having said so, we are now coming to the actual foundation site. In foundation site, we have first actually one chief administrative officer has been appointed recently. Though he is not a new person to this institute, he has been with us since beginning, almost 2000, even before college has started. Is very close to Sri Vikhe Patil sir, who is a founder of this institute, who has been actually awarded Padma Bhushan, and who has 9 times member of the parliament, who has started here. He has actually taught me also the general administration of a private institutions with so many institutions here. I am extremely grateful to late Sri Vikhe Patil sir. And he also liked Padalkar, and that's why suddenly he is removed. Padalkar took a lot of interest in the initial stages of starting both the hospital as well as medical college. I can categorically say he is one of the founders of this college, and also he has developed his department of biochemistry to very high level and brought the teaching staff and everything else. He has, in between, he has got his personal issues, gone to Pune and came back to us and appointed as Chief Administrative Officer, and he is helping the administration very well. Please meet Dr. Ramachandra Padalkar. Having said so, we have very important, after I was thrown out, he has, I think there is a hand of Professor Panduranga Gaikwad sir in being throwing me out itself. Looks like that. He is now Dr. P. Gaikwad, Panduranga Gaikwad, I will tell you. He has been professor of pharmacy, studied B Pharm, M Pharm from the Loni side, and then he has taken over in our college and joined us and became professor of pharmacy. In between, from my state, he has done doctorate of pharmacy, PhD in pharmacy. And let me tell you, he has been guided so many students under him. And during my tenure, when I worked as secretary, he has been my director. He has been extremely helpful to me and so many issues related to the non-medical institutions, particularly whether it is engineering college, pharmacy college, or agriculture college, school, all those things. I had to learn from him in the beginning and then teach him later. I am extremely grateful for having taught me how to proceed with these problems. There used to be several complaints regularly, and how to deal with the complaints for all these teaching staff and non-teaching staff, all these non-medical institutions. And he is really, I can tell you, such a good-hearted man, And whenever I used to get bored or anything else, I used to go there to his office for about 5 minutes and get rejuvenated and then came back. Such an excellent way he keeps me happy and absolutely no problem. Whenever I'm in tension, I used to go. That is the reason why I used to advise all the people, anyone who is he comes to my office, do one thing, go in 5 minutes, sit with Guy, and your headache will go away. It is a wonderful placebo. Placebo, you must have heard of the word placebo, MBBS students. So such an outstanding personality, and particularly Chairman Vikhe Patil sir was very happy with him, and Chief Executive Officer Dr. Sujay Vikhe Patil is very happy with him and appointed him initially as Director Technical, followed by now is Secretary General of this institute. Let me tell you, under his directions, under his cooperation and coordination, I wish this institute, this foundation, to reach the sky. I wish him all the best for his endeavor. And please meet Professor Dr. Ahilyanagar. Finally, I came to one of my colleagues here. The word colleague, he may not like it because my age is, I think already crossed 60. Whereas he is also crossed, he is in 5th decade. So almost difference, nothing much difference. Anyway, we have actually one professor, Vithalrao, with us. He has been with us almost from 2007. He has done graduation, post-graduation, graduation from Loni, post-graduation from Sancheti, and doctorate from Loni. Is a PhD in physiotherapy. Let me tell you, he is most intelligent person and most hardworking, with an arresting personality. I always tell, instead of joining here, you should have gone to modeling and you should have gone further to in a movie star. You must see him, his most handsome personality, almost next to Hrithik Roshan. Is very, very, let me tell you, when 2007 came here, I am not joking. Please understand, I am not joking this word. In 2007, he came here. I was walking down, at that time lights were not there. I was walking down from my office, going back to my home. In that, lights were not there. Now, of course, everything lighting is there. 3, 4 girls were going down, and that from the school side, if you see that area. But I was little behind. At that time, his engagement was over. So suddenly, one of the girls said, she was surprised, "Ho gaya marriage, settle ho gaya." You see, this is exactly the word that they have said. Now I could realize what the meaning of it. When he came as the director of this institute here, he took so much interest in every subject, whatever we have said, whatever Khasdar Sahib has said, who is actually Valasa Vikhe Patil sir, whatever Radhakrishna Vikhe Patil sir has said, whatever Sujay has said, he has taken so much interest and then produced the result. You can see all the construction starting from all hostels, all quarters, except maybe only 2 quarters were here at that time. The remaining all quarters, including this auditorium where we are sitting, all this new hostel which has been just completed now, he can read the plan like a civil engineer, as if the person has read BTech or MTech in civil engineering. He can read the plan so beautifully and understand it and correct it. All renovations, modifications after reading this thing is, I really I appreciate this to the intelligence and hard work of it. Whenever inspection, assessment, whenever anything takes place, is day and night is in the college, in the hospital, and as well as in the medical college, and it took so much interest. Most of the Sundays, Saturdays, whatever problems are there, most of the others used to go away. He is the only person who has stayed here. And I always used to tell you, your health will be affected unnecessarily. This much, don't get it. Detail somebody, ask them to do. No, he has himself done it. And let me tell you, by his presence, all problems are solved instantaneously. Such an excellent personality, and is very magnanimous and generous. His speech both used to be in English, Hindi or Marathi, is a Churchillian language, Churchillian speech. Sir Winston Churchill, Oxford Dictionary, you see it now, you will find an outstanding speech is always by Churchill. That's why the word Churchillian has come word, what he speaks of it. And I have yet, almost you can say, I have put in, I should not tell my service total. Then earlier I have said, whatever I said that I will contradicting myself. But anyway, I have put in 60 years service. In 60 years I have not observed any of my colleagues, or both in the armed forces as well as here. My hats off to this gentleman. Let me tell you one thing. I would like request you, because I have no more work here. Earlier I wouldn't have said, as I have come as a guest here, I would request all of you to give standing ovation to my friend Abhijit, please. Having said so, I would like to tell only 3 points before I close it to the students. First point is, please remember, nowadays Android mobile, the technology has come to such a level now. All of you are using Android mobiles, iPhones and everything else. You are 24 hours busy with this mobile. Let me tell you, technology, good, it is a hero. But technology is also a villain. Please remember, technology is hero and villain. This is what has been told even in 1970s by Alvin Toffler in his book Future Shock. Another thing is, greatest word is said now regarding technology. Please remember, technology is a very good, useful servant. But if you make it master, then it will be dangerous master. So that is why you control, look into the mobile, all of you students, and study hard, because all of you have to become clinical subjects. You people must take it over, because then only your parents will be extremely happy. Otherwise, they will not be happy. You yourself will realize. So better to study hard. Now the examinations are going to be very soon. I think you will not have later. There will be no more NEET later. Next will come. By that time you will be becoming next. In the final year itself, your selections will start. So that intensive period, you can learn some subject. Please remember this. This is the first thing. That means what? A person who joined medicine, let me tell you very frankly, in public, nothing but hard work only we have to do. There is no intelligence is required. Automatically in hard work itself, our remembrance will improve. That is why I always call, I have to be best donkey in medical field. Not horse. You have to get up in the night, you have to do things. If you become a surgeon, you have to get up, physician, anytime calls, you go to ICU, you go to CCCU, you go to any other. So you have to get up, you should have hard work. That is the number one. Number two, this institute does not permit ragging. Please remember. Ragging, three things. You will not take part. Number two, you will not be just observer to somebody else being ragged. Number three, you should not permit anyone ragging you. Please remember these three things. And whenever anybody does it, don't hesitate to ring up the numbers that are given to you. If that number is suppose not getting it, tell the nearest doctor, whosoever is there. Go to the quarter. The quarters are next opposite to you. Anyone you meet, any professor, any teacher, please inform him, this is what happened. Don't unnecessarily, what happened, you will be afraid to ring up to the teachers, and you will ring up your father, mother, and father, mother will get so much worried is what happened, something. This is absolutely wrong. Please inform the concerned teacher. If concerned teacher is not there, please inform any teacher, any faculty in this. I am telling you, this is my open advice to all of you. Number three, last, look after your parents. Now, of course, you are very young, you will be loving. Mother is the greatest person in the world. Nobody else. Mother, look after your mothers. Respect your parents, mother and father. And they are the only people who give you the sincere, honest blessings to you. Nobody else. No one can cross mother, father. So look after them. God bless you. Best of luck. Thank you so much.